yeah.
Just so you know, Player One Podcast has gone live.
Hold on, I just want to make absolutely sure I have no space here. Okay, we're good.
What?
I just want to make sure that I had space.
Oh, space.
You should definitely make sure that you have space because it does bad things to your recording when you don't have space.
Yes. Oh, has that happened?
Yes.
Oh,
sorry.
my.
Sorry about that, TJ.
That's all right. That's all right.
What are we talking about? Have space. What are we talking about?
Space.
When Ethan's hard drive starts running out of room, then it starts
Oh, yeah,
cutting
that's bad.
pieces out of his recording.
Is that what happened last week?
Sometimes while he's talking. Yep.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was wondering who screwed up the show this week, and it's like, oh, it was Ethan.
Oh,
Again.
boy.
But then Phil started talking, and I changed my mind.
Oh, boy.
Apparently
Bunch
our
of
audio
nerds.
has echo.
Everyone in here.
I don't know
Who
how
has-
that's possible.
Who? Huh? Who does what?
Our
Everyone
own
needs
audio.
Whose audio?
The Hangout audio.
Oh.
That's what
Everybody go
Thorbon
hang out.
says.
Hang out. That's where the fun is. Hang out.
I'm gonna listen to it myself for a second.
Well, of course it's going to have echo when you listen to it.
Oh, boy. You believe this guy over here?
No,
Jeez.
I just heard Phil singing the Hangout song, and
Yeah.
I didn't hear any echo.
Oh,
I think Thorbon's just listening in a really big room.
my voice naturally cannot echo, though. That's the thing.
That's weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't understand it myself, but there
Whenever
you go.
you yell your name, it just, or whenever you yell echo, it just goes, Winston.
What? That's exactly what it does.
I thought you'd appreciate that. You know where that's from.
I do.
I don't think I do.
Ghostbusters 2, man.
Oh, the greatest movie
When
ever
they're in
made.
the
According,
subway and you know, Egon and Ray
Yeah. I
yell
know.
things to echo, and then Winston yells hey or something, and then all he hears Winston, and then the ghost train attacks.
Yeah.
Then it's a boss in Final Fantasy VI.
Yep. Cool. That's how it
You
worked.
guys are no fun.
I'm
fun.
right there with you, dude.
None.
I'm
Zero.
right there. I'm
Zero fun.
I said I.
Zero fun.
But Cheapest Creepers, Gregory. I'm right here with you. You.
this is why people tune into the show. It's important to tune in live to get this amazing.
Oh, boy. Oh, you guys are having such fun. I wish I was a part of it. I love this Player One podcast. It's like hanging out with my friends.
I wish I was hanging out with my friends.
Me
I
too.
do too.
Stuart, you hosting? You
Yeah, sure. You need you're still you're editing. You gonna do the clap or what?
Oh,
You got the
Come on, man.
clap or what?
all right, fine. We'll do the clap.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Did somebody hit their microphone after that?
was that?
Yeah, that was me.
That's
That was me.
That's gonna make it hard. Anyway,
Let's do it. Let's do it one more time. Let's do it one more time.
Yeah, good
One
call.
more time, just for fun.
Ethan, get a hold of the crazy hands.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
You look like such idiots.
That was lovely.
3
All right.
days later, clap.
Okay, this is the good one.
Most folks.
That's why they call it finger licking.
Oh God.
I wish we had Crispin Boyer here.
That's on YouTube somewhere.
He did
That's
the
on
best,
YouTube.
yeah, but Crispin did the best impression of it.
That's
I
true.
found Crispin's impression funnier than the actual.
That's true.
This is the good one. Okay. Hello and welcome to episode 515 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, September 20th, 2016. I am your host, not Chris Johnston. I am Greg Stewart. Chris Johnston, though, is still here. He's coming to us live from the cough and cold aisle of his local pharmacy.
Yeah, I'm still kind of recovering from a cold, and then I'm on daddy duty this weekend, so
Gross.
I may have to leave at any moment.
Daddy duty sounds like something you would hose off the deck
And that too.
and then wonder why your husband doesn't know how to use a bathroom. Just saying. Coming to us live from Southern California. I don't know. You're not in Southern California. Yeah,
you
you're
know the geography of the United States,
You're south of me.
Craig.
You're south of me.
You used to live here.
But who am I
You used
going
to live in
first?
Northern California.
Who am I
I
going to say
remind you.
first? Who's earned the first introduction from California?
If you have any money left over, visit generation-16.
Coming to you live from California, we got Phil Theobald,
Yeah, that's right. I'm in Northern California, actually.
the nation's favorite teacher.
That's right. Getting ready for back to school night. Coming up soon.
Back to school night.
Back to school night.
Didn't that already
Back to
happen?
school night. Didn't they go back to school like 2 weeks ago?
Well, yeah, but there's the you after a couple weeks, there's the back to school night where the parents show up at night, and you actually
Oh,
We call yeah
what do you guys call it?
curriculum night.
Oh, okay.
That's because we
Yeah,
use big words. We like to use big
Americans
words. up
don't
in
know what
Canada.
curriculum means.
Yeah, you don't want to confuse the parents too much.
Yeah. No.
What is?
But,
you get phone calls like, "What is this curriculum? Is that like a
curriculum.
Mexican dessert or
curriculum.
It's
what is
it's
this
like a
churro night? What
it's like a chimichanga, but it has Fritos in it.
chimichanga night? Yeah, that's what we should call it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
And of course, being introduced last because I love him so much. Ethan Einhorn is here to tell us about how he sold his Vita collection
Oh,
to get
no
into
way.
VR. Because
No
I just want
way.
to say that when you sent out, and we'll be talking about this later, because when you sent out about your purchase this week,
Yeah.
in my mind is just like double fingers crossed, like, oh, please come on the show and say that you sold your Vita collection to buy that thing, because that would just be such an Ethan thing to do.
No,
true.
no, dude. What I got this week is, and I will describe it because people listening can't hear, but this
That is
gigantic
massive.
box,
Damn.
yes, is Psycho Pass Mandatory Happiness from the Steins Gate guys, and was
Sounds like nothing I would ever
$60 well spent, a visual novel. So, and I also pre-ordered Dragon Fantasy Book 2 from Limited Run Games from the small team out there, and so yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about Vita on this particular podcast. But
I don't believe that.
definitely not selling my beloved collection.
Nice.
okay.
Yes.
All righty.
Before we kick off, I do want to share a quick story. Yesterday, I picked my 9-year-old daughter up from a birthday party she was at, and they had
hers?
no.
Okay.
No, they had a flame spitter that was doing a whole
Ooh.
routine,
Hmm.
which was
Did
pretty
he have a
cool.
Vita?
You have rich friends, huh? I guess that's the humble brag here is
Yeah.
when I was
No,
at
no.
my daughter's rich friend's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
No, that's
though
not
it-
Ethan. That's Ethan's daughter who has the rich friends.
Right. It was funny though. I kid you not, to hear a 9-year-old boy say at the end, "Can I get your business card?"
for
To the
Christ's
performer.
It's
Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley, all right.
Yeah.
Silicon
Yes.
Valley.
Totally.
But
That's
he
amazing.
That
explained.
kid's already worked overtime half his life.
Yeah.
Yes, he explained to all the kids that he gives lessons, and
See-
so if you
Oh.
want to learn,
All that
yeah.
kid's doing is proving just how bad ageism is in Silicon Valley. 20, you're over the hill.
Yep.
Too experienced to work here. Apparently a big problem in Silicon Valley. Anyway, we're going to do a little bit of news. I am actually hosting this week because CJ is feeling a little under the weather. And of course, he's got daddy duty.
That's right.
That hasn't passed yet. So really, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
But he was kind enough to put a couple of news / topics on the outline here. And one of the ones I actually knew about. Actually, there's a couple delays this week came out. South Park, the what is
Fractured
it called?
Fractured Butthole.
That's such a
I
great
will
name.
never ask me to say that name.
Say that name.
Say that name.
No,
Do it.
I'm not. I'm not even gonna try.
How about
It's-
hole in one? Really? No.
Well, the thing is like I don't know
Bunghole
if. Let's see, because there's something specifically jarring to me about the
Beavis and Butthead
B-U-N-G
bunghole.
word. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try to say it. But let's see.
Beavis and
South Park
Butthead.
I think that just makes you
Fractured
normal.
butthole. I can say that one. There you go.
There you go.
See?
Now say it like
Fractured-
fractured butthole.
Butthole. Beavis and Butthead is the
is
fractured butthole.
Let
That's
me
like
try
saying
it.
Beavis and Butthead bung hole in one.
Bunghole.
Right. See, it might be like just the emphasis. So
Mhm.
we're talking about say the South Park. There we go. I know what it is.
Fractured
South
butthole.
Park fractured butthole. There
The
you go.
fractured butthole.
That was
Fractured
yes.
butthole.
I can say it.
yeah, delayed.
That was fair. That was good. It's good. Okay. Anyway, delayed into 2017.
Oh no.
Which
Ooh.
yeah, oh no, but also yeah, probably a better chance that I'll play it if it doesn't
Sure.
come out in the next couple months.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
you know. And yeah, so then another delay announced this week, and I would say that this is probably the greatest victory in this game's development cycle, which is The Last Guardian was delayed again, but only into December. So probably the shortest delay that game's ever had,
Yeah.
which is nice. So I'd call that a win personally. What else we got? We got Sonic Mania Special Edition. Who pre-ordered the Sonic Mania Special Edition? Come on.
Not me.
Not I.
Really?
It looks cool though. It comes with
Did
a
you?
statue of
Goddamn
Sonic the
right I
Hedgehog
did.
standing on a Sega Genesis.
So
Yeah.
of course I did.
Of course.
I
you-
actually I checked my credit card, and before I even tried to pre-order it, I noticed I'd already pre-ordered it. It's just
Ah.
kind
there
of
you go.
kind of the way it goes when you're me.
Well, I
Um,
will insert a humble brag here. Actually, I have not pre-ordered that because I have one of the Steam golden keys for Sega, where I have the entire Sega library on Steam, and I get every game that Sega releases for free. So,
Wow.
hopefully, it will come there.
But
That wasn't really a
it-
humble
f-
brag. That was just kind of a brag.
But it's not the
Yeah.
physical edition of the special edition, which
Yeah,
is,
you're not
comes
getting
with
there
all
is
this
no
extra
physical
stuff.
edition of this special edition.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It only comes with the download code.
So why do you
With the
think?
download code, but you get all this, like the
Oh yeah,
statue
you get
and
swag.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll go nicely with my 15th anniversary statue that actually I believe Ethan sent to me.
Oh, good.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah, I still have
Yeah.
that, and it's awesome.
And-
That's kind of a shitty statue, though, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's great
I have that
Whoa.
too.
with the
And-
marble base on it.
with the marble
Yeah.
base, and
Why is that one so bad?
I don't,
Yeah.
the paint job on it is terrible.
Oh,
I think.
stop it!
In
Wow.
my opinion. And I mean, Phil,
Should
you
be
being
pushing your
a
glasses when you say
an
that by the
action
way.
figure snob, you should be aware of that paint job being bad.
I don't know, man. This seems like this seems like just added hostility towards Ethan. Then
Yeah.
I won't put up for it.
Hey,
I don't
Did
see
Ethan,
why.
did Ethan send that to you?
No,
Okay, well you can complain then.
Wait, who was the PR person at the time?
I got that at the 15th birthday party at the Metreon in
That
San
was
Francisco.
probably set up by who?
How'd you get the
Ethan?
invite? How'd you get the invite?
it was
it-
probably
Ethan?
either me or it was Brett Blount or it was Chase.
If it wasn't Brett or Chase, then CJ, you're kind of a dick.
You know what? I got one with a bad paint job. I want to exchange it. Ethan, since you were the PR person at the time, I expect you to be able to do that for me.
No, well, you violated the terms and conditions. I remember
No.
specifically.
Sick.
I remember specifically that on the back of that box it said, "Do not brandish the statue as weapon."
That's
Oh,
true. It does
oh,
say that on the back of the
damn.
box.
Okay.
There you
okay,
go.
Fine.
You've kind of brandished it as a psychological weapon.
True.
Yeah. Though actually, it is funny you bring up Sonic Mania because when I did set up my new PC, literally the first game that I downloaded off of Steam was Sonic Generations, which I just love.
Great
that
game. Great
That is the other
game.
one. Yes,
Anyway, yeah.
indeed.
So the special edition is kind of nice. It's got a statue of Sonic standing on a Genesis and other stuff. I don't care. It's got a statue of
the
Sonic.
statue makes the Sega sound too.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
got a little replica Sonic cartridge that actually slides out and has a gold ring in it. So
Yeah.
I mean, there couldn't be anything more me than that.
Fancy
Um,
schmancy.
It is fancy schmancy. So yeah, that was kind of cool. It was kind of it was leaked, which kind of sucked because it was like, there wasn't a real announcement. It's just like Amazon posted it, which it seems like they're doing a lot, where they mistakenly post something before it's actually been announced. So anyway,
Now,
And-
I want to bring up that the chat room has discovered that Mr. Phil Theobald has a
What's that?
Pokemon Go bracelet.
I was going to bring that
What?
up. Yeah, it's not a
What?
bracelet. It's a.
It's,
I love that the battery protector's still in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's classy. That's how you know
I
Phil
just-
cares.
I just opened it.
Yeah.
So
I,
Wow.
not watching, if anyone's listening on iTunes, Phil has got the Pokemon. What is that thing called? The
Pokemon Go Plus.
Pokemon Go Plus.
Pokemon Go Plus on his collar, and it's still got the damn battery protector
I know.
thing in it that you have to pull out.
Well, I'm scared to pull it out because it might start beeping,
That's
and
what you said.
We appreciate that.
and I wanna configure it with
So you-
my.
You didn't go for the $250 watch shaped.
No,
Yeah,
no,
no.
go for this one. This one.
no. I want the
Look,
cute one.
It looks kind of like a poorly designed watch.
It does. Yeah.
So, are you guys still regularly playing Pokemon Go? And I don't ask that as negative or positive. I'm just curious.
Yes,
No.
Okay.
Good answer.
there you go.
Succinct.
So
Yes.
Because they dropped by 70 something percent.
I mean, but it was so popular. There was no way.
Oh,
it wasn't
yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
drop,
And it's still number one. I mean,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very well designed game. I could totally see why someone would play it for a long
I
time.
wouldn't go that far, but
now Finn still loves it. So
CJ just disappeared for daddy duty.
yep.
Yeah. And no,
You hear
I
in the
will.
background
I'll,
going, "Ah!" Sorry.
I'll double down on that. I think Pokemon Go is really neat. I think that it does something that's very clever. Yeah, and so I can see it.
Game of the generation,
Sure.
would you say?
I would say of the mobile generation, yeah, actually.
When do you figure that's going to be
shit.
sunset?
Jeez Louise.
Hey, look.
Listen to that half-hearted.
So
I
I'm
will murder
working.
you.
There's no time for you.
I'm
What's
working on my hyperbole here. So even when I talk about
we
the stuff I
appreciate
picked
that,
up
but
this
Yeah.
week, gonna keep it down the notch I usually would. But yeah,
okay.
Okay, if you say
I'm
so.
gonna somebody write that down. Okay, so let's move on. There was another thing on here which hopefully CJ will come back for, but of course, No Man's Sky has been in the news a lot, but not for good reasons. Basically, we've talked about it on the show a lot, which is the game was not really anything near what was promised. I know I personally have laid the blame for that at Sony's feet, although a lot of people have called me out on it, and I will admit, yes, okay. Sean Murray definitely had a lot to do with that. Sean Murray, of course, is the development chief.
Yes.
Over at I forget the name of the
Hello
studio.
Games.
Hello Games. Thank you. And anyway, this week, Shuhei Yoshida,
yeah.
which is the president of Sony's Worldwide Studios, pretty much came out and blamed Sean Murray.
Wait. No.
What?
You boys.
So, I mean, he said that Hello Games,
Pre-release PR strategy.
what they did, he said it wasn't a great PR strategy. He didn't have a PR person helping him, and that he's an indie
Yes.
developer.
That is
Uh,
very important.
he did
That
not
was
say
what I was
the
gonna
word
get to.
I
Blame.
blame. He did not say the words "I blame Hello Games."
Although the
I mean-
article you linked to in the first paragraph says he blamed Hello Games.
I know exactly. It can be interpreted that yes, he is blaming Hello Games.
So yeah, I mean, and he also
NeoGAF too.
in that same interview he did say that he loves the game.
Yeah,
So
And he is lying.
because they basically asked him like what should have been done differently or what needs to happen to the game. And he said, well, I don't know because I really enjoy the game. So,
Right.
but yes, he did say that it wasn't a great PR strategy because he didn't have a
did
PR
use
person helping him,
games in air quotes though.
which I'm
The-
curious.
the-
how see,
Yeah,
it sort of goes.
What
Sort of,
did he?
no,
All right.
let's let Greg speak.
This
I'm
guy up
curious
please.
though because where he is saying that there was no PR person to help him, I got to go back to Sony. Why
Yeah,
was
isn't
there
that
no
Sony's fault?
PR person helping him?
Yeah,
That sounds like a Sony problem since they were the publisher.
Kind of does.
Hmm.
Because
I'm
I mean,
sure
a
I'm
group
kind
the
of.
size of Hello Games not usually going to employ a full-time PR person.
I'd kind of
Yeah.
be surprised if Hello Games was booking their own appearances at
Right.
interviews or on videos or whatever.
I feel like he himself did not get a slot on the Tonight Show or the Jimmy or whatever show he was on. Like,
Probably not. I mean, I don't
Hmm.
know for sure. I mean, it certainly could have been that way, but
Sure.
I doubt it.
yeah. So anyway, just a little bit because sure you get into the whole Peter Molyneux levels of hyperbole there, but yeah,
Have you seen the
have
Have you seen the pictures people have been posting to Twitter of like used game stores where there's just like a ton of copies of No Man's Sky?
Oh, really?
I've seen a couple out of the UK that are doing that, and yeah, I feel like towards the end of the year we're going to see a lot of talk about how No Man's Sky is the biggest disappointment
of the year.
Oh, for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Which is
the other
which
thing
is a real
is-
shame.
It is a real shame. Hello Games has kind of gone radio silent for a while. They haven't tweeted in quite a long time.
Probably
They're
the
like
best
around
thing
30
to
days.
do in this situation.
Probably is, yeah, unless they have
for a
like a good community, a thick-skinned community manager that could wade into the minefield that no doubt awaits them. in
Right.
that thing. But I wonder what they're doing. I wonder if they're working on more content or
Well, the last time they were being vocal, they were talking about the patches they were working on.
yes, they were.
So,
Yeah.
See,
I can't
another
see
thing
them-
also, like having community team in the past, I would think that it would make sense for them to just say, hey, look, sometimes when you're working very long and very hard on one game, you start to fall in love with that game and you lose perspective. And we still love our game, and we know that there are people out there who love it as much as us, but there were not the number of mass market customers that loved it as much as we thought they would. I think that type of thing is a fair thing to say. It still holds the quality of the game up, but acknowledges that it wasn't something for everyone.
right.
Sure.
There you
Yeah,
go.
for sure. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. You're right. Like the article, I said I was sort of reading it as I was speaking there, and it makes it sound like Yoshida threw them under the bus, although he kind of didn't.
Yeah, I know. It's sort of been interpreted as Yoshida throwing them under the bus
Right.
by NeoGAF posts and whatnot, but the quotes don't really add up to that.
Right.
So.
Kind of the same way that and Phil, I totally Inafune. Kind of the same way that Inafune in that live stream for Mighty Number 9 launch, and of course now I hear that this had more to do with the translation than anything else. But if you listen to his comments, he at one point sounded like he was throwing the team under the bus for how that game turned out. Although if you quote him out of context, or if that was even the quote, that was one problem. But then if you listen to him, he actually apparently said later, like, it's my game. I have to take responsibility for this. This is my, I was in charge. So again, not throwing the team under the bus, but being very honest, and that's cool. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
The other thing that I noticed on here that we're going to talk about real quick, because I didn't notice, or I didn't know, but I knew about Res Infinite.
Yep.
What is the Space Channel 5 VR thing I'm reading?
So yeah, there's a Space Channel 5 VR.
Okay with
going
this.
on.
I am
Yeah.
okay with this.
What platforms is that going to be for?
Virtual reality.
It was at the HTC booth, so I guess the Vive, playable on the Vive.
I know people who have a Vive.
I know
You
people
do?
who have a Vive too.
Hmm.
But yeah, apparently it was being shown off at Tokyo Game Show as
Cool.
a little like a demo.
So
Wow.
being developed by Grounding, which developed Crimson Dragon.
Yeah. But Grounding, that was former Sega people, though, right?
Sure. Yeah.
That was the former Panzer
I
Dragoon
believe it
team.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this will, of course, not as far as I can tell, will Mizuguchi have any role in this? Probably not.
No, it didn't sound like it. No.
No. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
kind of, yeah. Plus, he's busy working on Res VR.
Res Infinite. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hmm.
Still, though, always cool to hear some sort of, a previously sunset Sega franchise coming back.
Indeed.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Come on, Ethan.
Better
You're
than
not
a
giving me anything to work with.
Wasn't me. That
No,
time.
but hey, better than a previously sunset Konami game coming back. Did you hear what Kojima said about?
Yes, about how do zombies fit into how the heck do zombies fit into the Metal Gear universe, which I thought was
That's a
hilarious.
funny
when you
comment.
consider that one of the main characters in his most recent Metal Gear games was a woman who drank through her skin, which was the reason why she had to be scantily clad at all times.
Yes.
So yeah,
right.
Yep. Didn't really hold a lot of.
Well, you know
that
it's bad
statement
when
didn't hold a lot of water, as it
it's
were.
bad when Kojima's saying your game doesn't even make sense.
It's true.
Like the worst.
Your game doesn't make sense, and my previous game featured a woman who drinks through her skin,
Exactly.
which it was never ever meant to be a reason to have her scantily clad or an extraneous shower scene, because she has to live.
Sure.
Right? She had to take a shower in front of those two men.
Of course.
Good times. I gotta go back and finish that game.
No, you don't.
It was a good game. It was ridiculous.
It's a good game, but there's almost no ending there. It just kind of credits roll.
Really? There's not like 3 hours of cutscenes at the end?
No.
Are you gonna spoil Metal Gear Solid 5 now?
No, I'm not gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Are you gonna say I like that game until Londi showed up in a helicopter? Is that you?
No.
No.
Yeah. Though I would say some people might disagree with my take on the ending, but I think it's a great game, but the ending is not one of its strengths.
Fair enough.
Mm.
Fair enough. Okay, so we're gonna move on to what you've been playing, and I was gonna start with CJ, but CJ appears to have gone. More of that daddy duty. So
Gross.
let's get this out of the way, Ethan.
Yeah.
No, I'm really curious. Let's share your big news.
Yeah. So I just last night picked up the HTC Vive along with a brand new desktop that can run it. So I have not gotten a gaming PC since Doom 3 came out. So
Can I ask something? And you don't need to share this if you don't want.
yeah.
Because this is personal information. How much did the PC cost?
Everything together cost about $2,100.
So for the Vive and the system.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it was not a terrible price, to jump in and get to experience that. And I actually just wanted an all-in-one solution, so I went to the Microsoft store, and they were awesome, and they just made sure I had everything I needed, and the rig that was within my price range that would still really do a nice job running the Vive. And so for me, the big thing though is that I've never messed around with big picture mode. I've never had a PC that's been powerful enough to run games like XCOM 2. So for me, it's kind of the 1-2 punch of getting the Vive, yes, but also getting a PC that can really capably run games. And I don't even have it set up.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't even have it set up to a monitor at all. It is set up to the HTC Vive and to my 55-inch TV downstairs, and that seems to be all I need, which is really great.
Yeah, being someone who just got a new PC earlier this year for the first time in a long time. There's really something to be said for, because we all have these gigantic Steam libraries at this point. It's like, oh man, I can't wait to jump in and actually play some of this stuff that with the settings all set to full and blah blah blah. It's pretty cool. So okay, the Vive. Tell us about the Vive. Tell us.
How was set up?
First of all,
how was set up?
Right. So pulling it out of the box, they are very careful to tell you that this will only take 25 minutes. Right.
Of course they tell you that. How long did that
out of the
take?
box or?
And well, and actually, they try to keep track of how many minutes are left in the setup process on the screen at all times, right?
That's pretty funny.
Which kind of falls apart when they get to the whole. Okay, now you have two sensors that are called light boxes, and you have to mount these at least 6.5 feet high with the mounts that we have provided for you. So that's difficult, and so I really had no means of doing that. It's just I don't have a house that is set up to allow for that.
Mhm.
And so,
So you
you know,
just have your two
it's
kids hold them up real high above their head.
Those would be some tall
Right.
kids.
Yeah. So, you know, and I did a little bit of digging online, and you know, as it turns out, like you can have them literally on the floor, and so long as they can
Yeah.
see one another and see you, they still work just fine. So
Yeah.
I have them actually about 4 feet up from the ground, set on you know, just some cabinets, and it's working out beautifully. I've not seen any problems.
A guy I work with, he actually just brought his Vive in to work the other day, or actually last week, so that my team could sort of play around with it and everything. And he was saying the same thing, because the room we were in had actually quite low ceilings, to the point that we couldn't actually put them up as high as they should have been. But yeah, he had them at about, I'd say, like the 5 foot
Yep.
height. But one of the things that he did is because those light boxes they actually come with mounting set up to be mounted to the wall. But he went and actually bought some light stands, like some Yamaha
tripods. Yep.
tripods, and they're great. You know, they're perfect,
it's-
and you can mount them easily. I mean, I think you need to buy a little mounting piece for it, but yeah, that's what he uses.
And that was going to be my next step if my current solution didn't work. My only concern right now is just that they're a little bit precarious, and if they fall, they can't be replaced yet, or you can't just go and buy additional ones, you know?
Okay.
So, you know,
So
got to
they're
be
like
careful.
a Wii U controller.
Yeah. It's interesting because when you're setting up, it does kind of feel like you're setting up for like a Kinect or, you know, a Wii, except this time it's actually worth the time to set up. You know,
Dun, dun,
and
dun.
Wow.
Oh, that was some passive aggressive
Wow.
right there.
well, no, and here's what I mean is
So you didn't have any
you know,
fun with Wii Sports Resort or anything? Is that what you're saying?
I did have fun with Wii Sports Resort. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So now it's
Mhm.
okay.
Yep.
All right. Yep. But no, here's what I'm more talking about. And yes, there were some fun experiences to be had on Wii for sure. But I'm thinking actually more about you know, I picked up a Kinect Sports Resort or whatever it was called. I don't remember the rare one that was on Xbox One. And you know, we reconfigured the living room exactly once to be able to play that game, you know? And it was fine, but it just wasn't worth doing. Look like you were going to say something. Stewie?
Yeah, I think about, I go back and think about Kinect, and I still really wish that there was an Xbox One equivalent to the mini game collections that Double Fine put out on the Kinect. My kids
Oh yeah.
loved those games, and it was so cool the way it, like, you can see behind me, like the couch back there, the living room was about the same configuration it is now, and like, you know, they had this one especially that would fill the room with lava, so they would be
Yeah.
you know, probably, speaking as a parent, probably not my most amazing parenting moment, but they'd be like jumping from the couch to the chair and things like that to stay out of the lava, and then they would just sort of dive in, and they just had loads of fun with it. There was no goal to the games. They were just fun. They were fun little toys, which is kind of what Sony tried to do with the camera mini games that came out, and they were okay, but they weren't nearly as creative. I really wish Double Fine would go back and do something like that again, because they were so much fun.
Yeah. Well, and it is interesting that you know, you see very, very few games with any kind of brand recognition in the Vive store right now, and that I'm sure will change over time. But you know, you don't have someone like Double Fine right now releasing a game for that platform. But you know, the setup continued, and after I got the light boxes set up, they have you actually use the controller and walk around to set up a perimeter.
Yeah.
And then it locks the perimeter into a box, and basically whenever you're playing, you know, as you get close to moving past that safety perimeter, you actually see it visually, which is great, because then you can just play freely within a confined square, and you can walk around things and actually duck underneath, you know, spaces for like kind of duck and cover shoot gameplay, and it's very, very cool to be able to do that. But you know, you never worry about actually like slugging somebody or you know, hitting your couch or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but you know, you get the perimeter set up, and then you're pretty much ready to go. But I mean, this is an experience that, cool as it is, you really have to want it. There's so many barriers for the average consumer. The most striking one for me was that each of the controllers has its own power. The 2 light boxes have their own power, and you have the PC and then the Vive itself that has power. So you're basically taking up all of your power plugs to play this product. Which is just, I mean, you really have to be a core player, heavily invested to ever do that. Never mind the Lightbox stuff.
That's the thing. Like to use the Vive that way, you've got to have a room, right? I mean, having it in your living room can't be the best setup. And the other thing is too, when we were demoing this at work this week, where you've got the full room VR, the fact that you're tethered is actually a real issue. At least I found it was watching people. I just sort of sat back and watched, and you had no notion of where the cable was after a while, right?
Well, unfortunately, sometimes literally the only way you can feel it is when it's under your leg.
Right.
And
yeah.
so
Exactly.
you have to be very ginger and make sure that you don't fall because
that beard is pretty red.
But I mean, you have expensive stuff on your noggin there.
Absolutely.
And you can also rip your
it's tethered to more expensive stuff.
Also your brain. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, that's the thing that, on the one hand, the experience when it's at its best. And so getting a little bit into the content after everything was set up, the first thing anyone who has a chance to try a Vive should do is go to Steam's own set of demos. It's a free app that is called The Lab.
The Lab.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool stuff.
It's great. And the background on it is really interesting. They basically, it's not like a mix of all of the best ideas. They, have said that they have some experiments in there that they knew wouldn't ultimately work as a game, but they still wanted to let players see it. So and some of the things are super fun. The archery game in there is incredible, where since you have a controller in each hand, you're holding the bow in one hand and you're pulling back the arrow with the other, and you have the rumble, which feels really convincing in this full 360 space. That may be the single most compelling gameplay experience I had last night. But it is neat. The resolution is obviously much better than something like Gear VR. It's a magical experience when everything comes together. But there's still some difficult language problems with VR. Most notably, moving around. Right. So you have just about all these games. It's about teleporting, which is fine, and sometimes they try to work it into the fiction. One of the games that I did pick up last night was called Raw Data, and it's really cool. It's a gunplay and sword thing. It's like
no, wait, that's the Star Trek porn game, right?
No,
that was Data Rod.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, but I mean, it's like, and what really struck me was, you remember those old ads for the original Wii where the kid was ducking behind the couch and, shooting.
Or the
back.
old ads for the original Menacer.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is in fairness, this does give you that, right? You get like 1-to-1 response rate with a sword, and it's really cool to like pull your hand behind your back, and then it automatically pulls out your sword, and then you press the button, and your lightsaber basically pops out. That's super cool. I mean, the other thing is when you're shooting a gun in that game, the gun in your left hand feels really good, or at least I chose left hand because I was a lefty. But with the right controller, you actually grab the ammo refill and click it into the gun and keep shooting. Yeah. And that's super cool. But again, the weird thing is you're always in these rooms, and you're always teleporting, and it doesn't feel organic, and it kind of feels very mini-gamey, and it's hard to understand how they would make something like that into kind of a compelling narrative experience, like even something, as narratively limited as Doom. It's hard to imagine how they're going to do that. I know Fallout 4 is coming out on there, but how's
that going to work?
Right.
It's going to be a good question.
So, it's not...
Yeah. Your character is now on a Segway. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Did you try the little arcade shooter they have?
That was the one that really got me.
Yeah, that was neat. That was neat.
That's my
Sure.
favorite one, just because it's so unexpected.
Yeah, it's you walk up to a little arcade and it's it's a fully immersive 3D kind of sprite based arcade shooter that you are actually physically dodging out of the way
You're
as
physically
you are.
moving the ship, out
Yeah.
of the way. Of
Yeah,
the
it's like you're
bullets.
holding the
It's
ship,
amazing.
basically, right? It's
Holding
one
the
of your
ship.
controllers. Yeah.
Yeah,
And again, when you're shooting, and we've for so many years had these cover-based shooter games, and you were actually using cover by ducking, and it works. That's really cool too.
totally.
So, and again, in isolated moments, it's really neat. I do wonder though, like once I'm used to that experience and the awe of doing something that I've never done before goes away, am I still going to be compelled to push my my dining room like all the way over to the side of the room to be able to jump into this kind of experience? And I don't know the answer to that yet.
I'm sure your wife loves that.
Yeah, I mean it's tough because it's asking a lot for sure. But it is a wonderful experience, at least the first night.
Definitely.
The other things that I did try on it is the big theater mode. So it's kind of fun to sit and play your Steam games on like a huge.
I'm
screen.
really curious too. I really want to experience that because the PlayStation VR has that as well, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not like I mean, if people are saying it's great, then it's great. But I'm really curious to experience that.
Yeah,
I
same here.
wouldn't yet go so far as to say that it's great. Because it looks more like you're kind of looking at a huge 720p screen. You do see some level of pixelation. I mean, it runs at a smooth frame rate. I didn't notice any kind of delay or anything like that. But it's certainly not going to replace anyone's 4K screen unless you're just a huge sucker for massive size. But
Man, there's some great quotes coming out of this VR.
Oh man.
Your lightsaber appears or pops out.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
But
Sucker
it
for
is
massive size. That's our
Did
title.
you try the little thing they have where it's like you're on the side of a mountain? It's in the lab, and
Yeah,
you
with a little,
can play with a little robot dog and throw sticks for him. That's great too.
Yes.
Can you throw the dog off the mountain?
Yeah, I was going to
You
say.
can throw a
you're throwing-
stick and the dog will chase the stick off the mountain. Yes.
Yeah.
So a stupid
You're
robot.
not gonna
dog.
throw the robot dog off the mountain.
Why not?
It's like
Silly.
picking
Really?
up the.
That's not what you that's not what you would do?
Well, I didn't do that, so I
That's-
don't know what that
just
says about
even
me
worked.
versus you.
Just to see
It's
if
like-
it works.
Picking up the little baby penguin in Mario 64
It's a
and
robot dog.
tossing him off the
Right.
side.
Did you
So-
play Job Simulator?
No, I haven't gotten that
That's
one.
another
And-
that's another
and that
really
didn't
fun
come-
one to just try a lot of things with the Vive. It's good.
Yeah, that did not come free for me. I didn't get unfortunately any bundles with mine.
Hey,
but,
you're getting that on the demo disc if you buy PlayStation VR.
It's true.
Oh, okay.
Demo of it. I don't know if you're getting the full thing.
A demo,
They
yeah.
released that. Just going to throw this out here. We'll wrap up some VR discussion here, but so there's a demo disc coming with the PlayStation VR. Fair amount of stuff on there. Most of the stuff I don't really know. Some of it I do. We get Alumet, Battlezone, Drive
Oh,
Club
okay.
VR. That's nice for me. Eve Valkyrie, Nog, Gnomonics.
Yeah.
Is it Gnog really?
Well, I think it's Nog,
Stupid way
but
to
yeah.
say that. Harmonix Music VR, CJ. Headmaster, Here They Lie, Job Simulator, PlayStation VR Worlds, which some of that stuff looks really cool. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Kitchen Teaser, so we can all get sick. Res Infinite Rigs, which I've played before. It's very cool. Thumper, Tumble VR, Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, Wayward Sky, and Within.
That's a lot of stuff.
A lot of
Yeah,
stuff on
actually.
that. Well, I mean, that's
It
the
is.
way to
Crazy.
go, right? You got to do it. It's
Yeah.
you look back, and I mean, it's always been sort of the way to go with sort of new tech.
You know
Just
what
Well, and
throw
here's
they should
stuff out
do
there.
if they want to really sell me on like the theater mode with that is include the Batman animated series Heart of Ice. On the-
That is great.
I'm
That is
not
a-
gonna. I'm not gonna lie. I watched that clip when I got my 3DO over and over and over again.
Every
And I use
every
it as
demo
a
disc.
sales tool. Yeah.
Oh
when I
yeah,
was at
same
Sony.
here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like
so
yeah,
just-
Crash and
just
Burn
to-
looked okay, but this is Batman.
Right, and it's actually video, yeah. So just to wrap up real quick, I think that when you're looking at something like the PS VR and the Oculus Rift versus the Vive, I think the big separation you're going to see is, of course, the room space thing. And again, while it is really cool, and I think my guess is if I tried the PSVR, I would feel like that's missing as a core part of the experience. At the same time, something that was very strange and a bit off-putting to me with the Vive was I had a lot of fun standing up doing all the demo type stuff, and then I just want to sit back and do the theater mode. So I sat down on my couch, and I had plenty of space as far as the cord itself was concerned, but the screen just went gray. And I couldn't do anything. And as it turns out, that was because I was no longer
in the virtual room.
Visible in the virtual room. So I literally had to go back to my kitchen table and sit down to use it, or had to reconfigure the light boxes. And it's like, that's a pain. I think that you should be able to disconnect from that room and use it, as just a big screen by itself.
So
That's a strange thing to me.
Tethered in more ways than one.
Yeah, I think the thing a lot of people don't understand with VR is, I mean, even though we went through the Oculus DK1 and DK2 and all that stuff, like, we're still kind of at the beginning of these headsets, and even the Vive that's commercially available now, it's like the first it's the 1.0, and there's going to be updates to it, and better headsets and fewer cords. And I mean, even when the Vive was in development, they iterated on the headset and reduced the number of cords, and changed the light boxes and all sorts of things. And we're just at the beginning of this, and it's not like when you get your PSVR headset this October that's going to be,
like 3 weeks from now.
That's the 1.0 of PSVR as well. And it's important to remember that we're kind of at the beginning of this, and if you're buying one of these now, you're getting in on the ground floor as an early adopter, and you kind of have to figure that in a year or two's time there's going to be better headsets, more comfortable headsets to wear, and just keep that in mind.
I don't know, the PlayStation VR is pretty damn comfortable.
Yeah, I've heard that. I still haven't tried it yet.
I really like it.
It's definitely cozy, and it's a great piece of technology. But one thing that you're going to get with PSVR 2, which you don't with either Oculus or Vive, is things like Metacritic reviews. Like,
that's true.
It's so strange that they don't have even a section for VR right now. I mean, I guess it makes sense given the small number of users, but it's tough to just be able to go and find places to read reviews. Never mind aggregated reviews. I mean, it's tough even to find individual reviews. IGN doesn't review them.
I think you're right. I mean, PlayStation VR is going to be that point where it's going to bring the gaming press on board.
Yeah,
just because they're going to feel like they have to.
But are they going to like? Are they going to like it, or is it going to be?
I don't know. It's a big question, right? I mean, it's. I think, the last 2 months of this year definitely going to be very interesting when it comes to VR, because I think we've said it many times in the show, Sony has a chance to break it wide open.
Sure,
right? You've got the right price point, relatively speaking, and
Some brands that people know. I mean, Sony's the one bringing Resident Evil and Batman and Until Dawn. Yeah,
Battlezone. Hey, that Battlezone game looks so good.
Drive Club. I cannot wait to. I just can't wait to sit down and play racing games on that thing. That, for me, honestly, that's all I care about right now. Like, if I can just get a bunch of racing games that work well in VR, I'm sold. I'm happy.
I am so close to pulling the trigger on Project Cars. I do want to see that one.
Yeah.
But Drive Club's a better game. That's the thing. So, kind of wish I could do that. So I mean, I think if you are comfortable parting with such an enormous amount of money as it relates to your game hobby, you're going to already be bought in that you're going to see something cool, and you will be happy with your experience. But if you're looking for something that gives you the depth of your current console games, wait a while.
Unless you're talking, like racing games or something.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. See, Ethan, you got anything else to talk about this week, or?
No, I mean that's really about it.
Okay, Chris Johnston.
Hello.
What you been playing this week?
Well, I downloaded the Forza Horizon 3 demo.
I think you want to say you downloaded the demo of the game of 2016.
I don't know if I'd go that far yet. I mean, the
Well,
year's not over.
you're wrong, but
but
keep going.
it is a darn good game, and certainly my favorite series that Microsoft has on the Xbox One. I mean, Forza Horizon is excellent. It's just so much fun. And Forza Horizon, like I booted up 2 not too long ago and played some more races in that. That game is just so much fun. And then started up the demo for 3, and it's just so enjoyable. Like,
Right?
the way they introduce everything is so great, and like they switch you to a different car, and they do like this jump and do all sorts of camera angles and stuff on it. I mean, it's just great. It just like makes you feel really good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, absolutely. It's just more Forza Horizon, which is all it needs to be.
This series has replaced Burnout as my favorite racer. Like, it's so good.
Wow.
So much fun to play. And I mean, I could honestly care less about the even or the regular numbered Forza games. I mean, I'm sure they're fine, but they're not
They still
Horizon.
It was nice to see though, because you see the advances that were made in like Forza 6 showing up in this game. The key thing is the water, hugely.
Oh,
You know, like on your original race, there's at one point where you drive over a bit of road that's been flooded, and if you feel the way that the handling of the car changed and how it felt a little bit bogged down, that's directly out of Forza 6.
All right.
The wet weather racing that they, you know, because they brought standing water sort of into that. Because normally in racing games with wet weather racing, you just lose grip. But in Forza 6, they brought standing water into it. So if you saw a puddle, you wanted to avoid it because it was grab those wheels and try to turn you. So that technology's been like directly ripped right out of Forza 6. And, you know, so when you're driving on the beach, if you drive into the surf, that's what you're feeling. It's the exact same setup.
Nice.
So, but just pure joy, that whole demo, man. Like,
It really is.
and
No, I don't think it actually saves any of your progress,
I
right?
don't believe so. No.
Which is unfortunate, because then you're gonna have to play through the rest of that, I'm assuming, when the game comes out.
And it was nice to see too, like we've got the off-road stuff, which was basically the I forget, was it called Storm Island or something like that?
Yeah.
Which was the expansion for the previous game. So that's all been incorporated now. And of course the weather change, the rain and all that. But I really like the whole idea of there's sort of a light progression in there that they didn't have in the previous games, because you're supposed to be the organizer of the festival this time around.
Right.
So like you're actually choosing which radio stations get unlocked when, and just little things like that don't feel super intrusive. But, you know, and same thing, like instead of when you finish sort of the first area and the game just doesn't shovel you off to like Surfers Paradise or something like that, it's like, do you want the next festival to open in Surfers Paradise, or do you want it to open? I forget what the other one was called. So you've got a little bit of control over the progression, which is really nice as well.
Yeah, I like the game. I mean, it just feels like somebody has handed you the keys to, you know, these very expensive cars, and it's like, just go crazy. Just do whatever you want. I trust you. Here you go.
And if you run into other cars, you're not going to destroy your car.
And anyone who has seen my driving in driving games knows that
escape bonus,
not too good sometimes, but I have a lot of fun with that. So this is just my style of racing game, and I immediately pre-bought the digital version.
This one's got Bust a Move by Young MC. So
it does. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So yeah, awesome.
I'm assuming you're buying it, of course.
I have it pre-ordered from ages ago,
and I think we have some.
I pre-ordered it.
Yeah, I think we have some interest on our message board for people who want to play together. Which I'm not. Can you really do that?
You can co-op. You can co-op the whole thing, as far as I know.
Okay, that's right. So we might be doing some of that on our forum, and then there's an Xbox Live Club for Player One Podcast. If people have the new dashboard update, you can check that out, and we're definitely going to be playing Forza Horizon 3 on that, and you can look for groups of people to play with that feature. So it's kind of nice.
I think I got the dashboard update today, actually.
Yeah.
One of the other things that that game does, which I completely forgotten because I actually still have my Kinect hooked up. The navigation, the nav system in that game is all voice driven, which is nice because you never need to use a menu if you don't want to. You just call out Anna is the nav system's name, and you literally just like Anna next event, and then it'll just set a path for you
Nice.
right away. It's great. It's really
that.
smooth and it works really, really well. So if you still have your Kinect hooked up, hey, here's a reason to use it.
Yeah, but to be fair, you could almost certainly do that just with the microphone as well.
Oh yeah, you probably can. Yeah, I just don't like having to because I play with a headset on, like I play with earphones on, so
yeah.
I don't like having to use that thing too.
Yeah, no, that's neat.
But yeah, very cool. What else you got there? Siege.
Well, I played a little bit of Recore.
Yes, I got it. And I have not played it.
I've heard mixed things.
I've heard mixed things about that too. Or Patrick Klepek called it, or said that it plays like a PS2 game, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's what people are saying about Last Guardian.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it seems okay to me so far. I didn't play very much of it, to be honest, but I liked what I had seen previously, so I'm kind of excited to continue playing. Yeah. And then I played Pac-Man Championship Edition 2.
Yeah,
Looks insane.
I played that too.
Which is one of them fun time video games for sure. I mean, I was so into Pac-Man Championship Edition on the 360. I was way into that. And
is there any reason for a sequel though? I mean, because it just felt like that was such a complete thing.
Well, I think what they did now with this one, they've changed the rules completely. Really, it's the same basic setup. I mean, you're still Pac-Man chomping pellets in a maze, but now you can actually hit the ghosts. You can bump into them a few times before they become harmful to you. So, and you can also stop. There's a break button where you can stop yourself on the map. So timing of your path becomes important. You also have this power-up, which is a bomb that'll actually blow you back to the start point of the maze.
Oh, that's cool.
If you find yourself in an uncomfortable situation, you can bomb yourself back to the start. And
What, like in the back of a Volkswagen?
I was waiting for that. But yeah, it's a fun game. It's fast paced. I mean, it's the 5-minute timed levels and score chase and leaderboards for every single level. And I just recently unlocked the adventure mode, which has boss battles too. I haven't gotten any of those yet.
Yeah.
Interesting. A boss battle in Pac-Man. That's curious to see that.
Yep. But yeah, it's a little different. I mean, you get the power pellet and you can't, you basically have to like chomp from the beginning of the ghost train. So you get like this little path on where the ghost train is going to be headed, and you can try to intersect the top of the chain. Yeah. I mean, it definitely varies up the rules quite a bit. It's not the same old Pac-Man CE from the 360 days, but I like both games for different reasons. So,
yeah, fantastic. Cool. Sounds good.
Yes, it's cool.
What you got anything else? Yeah,
that's it.
All right, Phil, tell us about Attack on Titan.
Well, I have been playing Attack on Titan for PS4 based on the very successful anime series of the same name. And, I'm interested in it because it's from Koei/W-Force, the good folks who brought us the Musou. Actually, it's not Musou, though.
Really?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
No, because it's in the game, as in the show, you are fighting these giant, creepy-looking, monstrous humans called Titans by using this these kind of grappling hook devices that you wear around your waist. So you're
kind of like
shooting
Freedom Wars, right?
Yeah, Freedom Wars has a similar thing going on.
Maybe. I have not played Freedom Wars.
Freedom Wars for the Vita.
So I have not played it.
Play that Vita.
So, I told you to talk about Vita at some point.
Yep. Can't be helped. But yeah, so you're swinging around the village like Spider-Man, and
that's
then
Spider-Man, by the way. Spider-Man is how that's pronounced.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah, David Spider-Man.
That is fantastic.
Oh, no. What? David Spider-Man?
What?
That's where you go with Spader.
I don't care. Keep going.
You don't.
David
You don't.
Spaderman.
You don't go
James.
to James.
Whose last
Why
name is
not?
actually Spader.
David Spaderman rolls off the tongue better.
David Spaderman. James Spader.
Come on, come on.
Oh man, oh man. And yeah, you come into view of the giant titans, and you can use your grappling gear to latch on to their body, and then propel yourself quickly at them, and then start slicing to cut off arms and legs. And then their
Good,
their
clean
vulnerable
family fun.
part is the nape of their neck, which is where you deliver the finishing blow to kill them off. And I'm enjoying it so far. It seems like I'm only a couple missions into it. Well, you know, it's from the people who brought you the Muso games, so it seems like the combat might end up becoming somewhat repetitive.
Yeah. Imagine
But
that.
we all know how that affects me with the Muso games,
Yeah.
i.e. it doesn't.
Sure.
But still, I'm having a blast with it so far. Like I said, the combat's just really quite a bit of fun once you sort of get the hang of the controls, because you're sort of juggling a few different buttons to swing around the city and then lock on to a guy and then turbo yourself at him and then slice at the last minute to do damage to him. But it's pretty satisfying combat once you kind of get the hang of it, and you can flow across the city and take down these freaky looking giants without ever touching the ground or stopping your forward momentum. It's pretty cool. So
And I
don't know.
Interesting.
I've already
Yeah.
broken the Vita seal, so I will say that the Vita forums have been very positive about the Attack on Titan Vita version, which
Oh, there
apparently
you
is
go.
exactly the same game with a little more pop-in, but it's supposed to be great there too.
a little more pop in, not quite as much lock, which is too bad.
Nice.
Wow.
Pop in,
Yeah,
pop in
get it.
lock. You understand? Well, so Ethan, I mean, you're obligated to buy this game at some point, right?
No, because it's not out on physical.
But you're buying digital
Oh.
games.
I'm buying digital games here and there, but my personal goal is to focus on the physical. As far as the collection is concerned, I've been very
That's a
tempted.
loophole. Now that you bought the
Yeah.
Vive, you're like, I can't spend as much
Well, I
money
mean, we've known
Yeah,
Ethan for a
exactly.
long time. We all know he focuses on the physical. He always has.
Oh, there you go.
Mhm. Yep.
How else can you explain the Britney Spears thing?
Yeah.
Really, it's not her
Great.
music.
Great music. That's what it is.
Really?
I mean, yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, I'll defend the quality of the pop music, but that's another topic for another podcast.
You'll defend it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're right. You
Yeah.
can defend it all you want.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh,
Hey,
boy.
Phil, you excited about that Muso Stars game that was announced at TGS? You heard about that?
Stars.
What's this?
They're doing like a Muso All Stars game.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah.
What?
Koei Tecmo. That's all I
what,
know about it. It's called Muso Stars.
So stars?
I thought
Isn't that
for
kind of
sure
what-
you'd be all into it.
Isn't that what Warriors Orochi is? Pretty
I
much.
don't
So
know.
that's your big crossover between
Probably.
between Dynasty and Samurai Warriors.
No, but I think this brings in other stuff too.
Oh, you're gonna have like
licenses that they've done.
One Piece and
Yeah.
and Fist of the North Star and all those guys together
Yeah.
at last.
Gundam.
And
Well,
Dead or
and
Alive.
Yeah.
Link,
And Ninja
of course,
Gaiden.
Nintendo's rope into
Yeah.
these types of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
yeah.
Ninja Gaiden Muso game.
No, he's in Ninja Stars, or he's in Muso Stars. Ninja Stars.
It's 'cause, it's a Koei Tecmo. So it was like the Dead or Alive girl's gonna be in this.
Yes.
Nice.
And a million microtransactions for different bikini tops.
It's gonna
Probably.
That's going to be very exciting.
Oh my God.
This is gross.
Phil's gone full nerd.
Do not
Uh,
pan the camera down, please.
Mm,
You know, you're just inviting him to pan the camera down.
yes.
Yikes. All right.
All right. So
Oh, geez,
now we're
sorry,
going to
something-
show.
Something hit the mic.
Sure it did.
This is Pokemon Go Plus. I love that you're still wearing it for no good reason.
I have a great reason.
What is the point of it at this juncture?
That
What-
goes on your wrist.
It's not even.
It has
a-
a fashion.
It has a clip.
fashion.
Snorlax is going to appear or something. Like,
You
what?
never know, man.
But there's no.
Yeah,
But the
you
battery
never know.
tab's still in it.
I know. I want to conserve battery while I'm looking for the Snorlax. Obviously, when the Snorlax shows up, I'll take the battery tag out. Duh.
That's not how that works.
This guy has no idea how to play Pokemon. No, you see, actually, CJ, it has the clip on the
There's a
back,
clip. Okay.
but it comes with the wristband has an actual back to it, so you have to physically unscrew the pocket clip.
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
And then screw it on there. So I know what I'm doing.
Will you wear that
jerk.
wristband? Will you wear that wristband?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna wear this wristband.
Really?
Yeah,
Of course he is.
you kidding me?
I'd be more tempted if it came out as a neck choker as well. That would be really cool.
I'm sure you could.
You could just do that. With it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wearing a
I
choker
mean,
with a Pokemon Go Plus, like right there,
I mean, Ethan, you have all that
like a
S&M
trick box, just right there.
You have all that S&M gear. You can probably fashion this on too.
Yeah, it's
I
Plus
do.
right there. Spikes every couple of.
Yeah,
I'm sure they make a Pokemon Gimp suit right now, right?
It's yellow.
With the special place where you put the Go tracker.
I don't even.
I don't know.
Where are we?
What are we even talking about?
where would that be, CJ?
I don't know. Where would it be?
You don't know?
You tell me.
Right on the
All right.
bung, right on the
Um,
bunghole.
Bunghole. There you go.
Bunghole.
The fractured bunghole.
Pokemon Bungo in one.
He didn't even crack a smile. Oh, yeah, he's laughing.
He's laughing.
He's trying to hold it in.
The dimple
hold
hold
it
it
in.
in.
As long as I don't have to say it, I'm fine.
All right. Now we've gotten to the part of the show that I know everyone's waiting for. I'm going to start talking about NASCAR Heat Evolution. How many viewers we got right now? I'm just curious to see
This is
how
a good time for
fast
me to
this
figure
goes
out
down.
20.
to use this Pokemon.
20. Okay. Let's monitor this. So yeah, NASCAR Heat Evolution finally came out. This is the sort of rebirth of the an older series by DMR. DMR. I don't know. Duesenberry Martin Racing is the name of the company, and by Monster Games that did a lot of the old NASCAR Heat games from back in the early 2000s, which were quite good. So anyway, yeah, all I can say about it is I enjoy a lot of what I'm playing of it. I enjoy the way that it feels when I'm racing, but it definitely has the sort of first in a series
Oh, the
sports
momentum
game
of a runaway
thing,
train. How
yeah.
does it stay so popular?
on a new console, which is to say that the game surrounding the gameplay is not fantastic. It's very rough. It feels sort of low budget, especially the presentation in the menus and that sort of thing. So that's a little bit upsetting. And as I've been sort of following some of the different YouTubers that are talking about this game too, I'm seeing a few blemishes here and there, especially when it comes to AI.
I'd imagine following YouTubers, you'd see all sorts of blemishes.
It's pretty good.
Thank you. I just thought of that one right now.
So, as in this game actually has a career mode, which is something that I was really happy to see because that's something that was really missing from the Utechnics versions of these games for a long time. And I'm one of those people that, when I start a career mode and I'm starting with a really sort of low end vehicle, I want to be fighting for like 20th place, not first place, because that doesn't really make any sense. There's really nowhere to go from there. And I have been, when I've been playing career mode 2 or 3 races now, I'm like getting around 18th, 19th, 20th, which is where I want to finish out of like 40 cars. But I saw a YouTube video recently that makes me think that they're kind of cheating that because this guy actually went a lap down during one of the races that he was in because of a wreck. And then when he restarted at the back of the field, he literally just motored by the entire field and unlapped himself and came back around and started passing cars again until he got up to what seemed like sort of the threshold that the game felt like it needed to be at. And then everybody sped up again. And he finished where he was supposed to finish. So I want to kind of test that out myself, just to see if I can replicate it. And then the other thing that I don't understand that they've done, well, there's two things that I'm not crazy about. One is that there are like 20 tracks in the NASCAR season. And like when I was back in the day when I would review these games, one of the first things I do is sort of a litmus test was like go to Bristol, which is a tiny half-mile banked oval. And of course, you had 40 cars on the track, and it's, you know, very graphically intense just to see how it would run and also to see how the AI handled like really close quarters and pitting under green and all that sort of thing. You can't do that in this game because they've locked 2/3 of the track behind a wall that you have to play a couple hours to get through. So like you get points for finishing every race, and they don't really tell you what you get the points for, but they're multiplied by how many laps you ran in the race. And you need some ungodly number to unlock the second set of tracks. So 2/3 of the content of the game is locked away right from the start, which is strange.
So by the time you get to it, you're already onto Forza Horizon 3.
Yeah, like that. That's kind of an issue. And then the other thing that I didn't realize they were doing that I'm really disappointed about is they've been really talking up the fact that they're doing a lot of DLC skins and things like that, which is cool. But it's all microtransactions, which I know you'll love, Ethan.
Don't get me started.
No, but it's fair. And I mean, you know, I'm not oblivious to the fact that, you know, doing a whole new skin set for like 10, 15 cars it's not free to do that work. But it just feels like a lot of stuff that's on the disc has been locked away and put behind a paywall. And it's a little bit upsetting. Same thing with like different announcer voices and things like that. So I don't know. I need to play it more. I'm reluctant to tear it apart because I feel like I haven't played it enough yet. But definitely, there's some real good there. It's still miles better than the garbage that was coming out of Eutechnyx for the last 5 years. But yeah, I'm really torn on this game. I was hoping for.
Well, the thing is, it sounds like you have a hardcore enough audience there to justify an annual release, so long as it's just good enough. And if the Eutechnyx stuff sucked, it sounds like just good enough is not a particularly high bar in this subgenre of games.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like I said, I'm trying not to downplay it too much because we've talked about this a lot, and if Rich Grisham was here, we could go on and on about this. But you know, like when you get to the first sports game in any new console generation, is always really rough, right? Just because it is, right? Like because they've reworked the engine and they've had a year to do it, that sort of thing. This is not necessarily. This is technically the first NASCAR game for this generation, but it's also the fact that they've thrown out everything Eutechnyx did for the past 5 years, and they started from scratch, and it feels like they've started from scratch. So I kind of want to, you know, give the benefit of the doubt here, but at the same time, there's a few things that they just feel like oversights that I'm not crazy about, and I really don't like that whole monetization scheme at all. So yeah, a little bit bummed, but I'm going to keep playing it. I still love the fact that there's a career mode. My driver looks like a very smug Kevin Larrabee. I posted a picture of that on Twitter last week. He's leaning against his car, and he's just got this shit-eating grin, and it looks like Kevin when he's really proud of himself, because he's bald and in much better shape than I am. Yeah, and otherwise, all I was really spending a lot of time. I mean, I'm playing a ton of Picross 3D Round 2, but other than that, it was the all Forza Horizon 3 all the time week.
The demo's so good.
It is. I can't wait for the game. That comes at the end of this week, doesn't it?
That says a lot if you're saying all Forza 3, Forza Horizon 3 all week when it's a demo, you know?
Yeah.
It's the end of this week if you bought the early access, like the platinum or the premium thing, and then next.
I don't remember what I pre-ordered. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll have to check.
It's like a 4-day play it early thing.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Forza 6. That's why I ended up buying digital on that one too.
Yeah.
And actually, this is an area where I'm kind of undecided, but now I can get either the Xbox One version or the
Well,
PC
go
one.
digital.
Oh, I
both.
I guess you get both. That's right.
Yeah. If you have the PC to run it and you're not sure which one you want, but you know you want it, there's no reason not to do digital. That's
Actually,
like one of the
here's-
best things Microsoft's done.
Here's a really interesting thing that I noticed when I pre-ordered Forza this past week. Apparently, you can get refunds on digital pre-orders on Microsoft's store.
Really?
Cannot do that with Sony. You can do that apparently with Microsoft, which is great. As long as you do it before release date, you're golden. So that's a fantastic new development that I think happened when they switched the purchasing over from the Xbox Marketplace to the Windows Store. Now is where you buy everything. So that's a great policy. You know, like I feel a lot better if I can just pre-order and potentially get a refund as we close in on the release date. So
Yeah, that's cool.
So let's do a few tweets here before we wrap up. And I'm just going to jump right into the feed here. Actually, there's a game that we haven't talked about this week, and I'm curious if you guys bought it. Hacker alias A Scott X asks if any of us are playing Dragon Quest VII. He says he thinks he remembers that most of the P1P liked Dragon Quest IX on DS back in the day. Did anyone pick it up?
I did not pick it up because there's so many other games hitting right now, and I'm not sure if I have the time for a 100-hour RPG. I'm tempted.
I am too. Yeah, I'm very glad it exists, and I may go back to buy it sometime. But I have way too many handheld games to get through still.
Yeah. I picked it up just because I had a bunch of stuff to trade in. I was like, what the hell? Because I do want to play this, although, like we've spoken many times, I don't really have the time to play a 100-hour RPG.
Yeah.
But I'll peck away at it. And, of course, my version has French, so...
Ooh.
Ah. Makes it a little sexier, doesn't it?
It is a little sexier, yes. I've played about an hour of it, and it sure looks pretty.
It does.
Tell me that.
I'm
That's
actually
nice.
more excited about Dragon Quest Builders, and I don't know why, but I've
that
watched a
is
bunch of
so
videos
on
on Builder, and that seems like it is going to be a game that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm actually very excited about World of Final Fantasy coming next month.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that too. I don't know. I'll hold off. I'll pick that up when it's $10. $20 maybe.
Hacker alias Donald Terrio asks how hyped is Seward over Sega acquiring the rights to Technosoft games. Yeah, because that's some news we actually didn't cover as well. Sega announced that they have acquired the rights to Technosoft games, which, for anybody who doesn't know, Thunder Force. The Thunder Force series is the biggest one you probably would have heard of.
Right.
That's to imply
fact,
that
isn't-
I'm not incredibly excited about this.
Isn't one of those games going to be on the Sega 3D Classics?
Thunder Force 3.
Which was amazing. It is a
So
fantastic
nice.
game.
It'll look so nice in 3D.
Back on the Genesis, Technosoft made some incredible shooters. And some incredible sound. Their music in Technosoft games was just
Yeah.
on a whole other level. And
Yep.
So
Thunder
I'm
Force 3
presuming-
was
And Thunder Force 4.
Yes, yeah, and I'm presuming that there is no dev team or anything. That these are just games that were produced back in the '90s that they now have the rights to, right? Yeah,
I think Technosoft's long gone, but going back to this, Thunder Force 4, which of course came here as Lightning Force, which is one of the reasons why I think a lot of people didn't realize it was Lightning Force.
Yes.
But yeah, Thunder Force 4 was fantastic. Thunder Force 3 though was a very early game for the system, which was, I think it was 1990 that it came out, and it put the system through its paces. That was one of those games that I actually remember when I was still just renting a Genesis. I grabbed that game at one point. I was just like, wow, this is like just light years beyond anything I'd ever played. It just
No. It was lightning years.
lightning years beyond. We should drive that into the ground.
Please.
Yeah, anyway, and actually worth noting, they were actually the first third-party publisher on the Mega Drive.
How would you know?
I know. Why would I? I'm the last person on the internet to ask about that. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
awesome, and I really hope that they, we get M2 doing some, M2 level remakes of like Technosoft games in general. They also did Herzog Zwei,
Yes.
which is a great early RTS style game.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
pre Dune 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
Fantastic.
speaking of M2, I had gotten very into visual novels, as you know, and started looking for different ones, seeing that Steam had a bunch of them. Saw that M2 did some of them, and oh my, some of those are really
Oh
cheesecake.
my.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like super good, high quality, character designs and stuff. Like, they just have a lot of high polish to their games, but like the cheesecakiest of the cheesecakey. So I was a little surprised by that. I thought I would not be getting that from M2, but anyway.
They have it. Hacker alias Benjamin Rivers asks, what games convinced you to upgrade your setup? Like TV, speakers, PC, etc. Like we've gone through this a little bit with Ethan tonight. For example, he finally went HD for Gears of War on 360.
I got an HD TV when Dragon Quest VIII came out, right before the Xbox 360 launch. It was really the Xbox 360 that convinced me to get an HD TV, because I wanted to play all those sweet HD games that now when you load them up, they have huge text, and they weren't really designed for HD screens.
Well, and almost paradoxically, what I find interesting is when I got my first HD TV, it was also in anticipation of the Xbox 360. But people, I think, probably don't tend to remember that the original Xbox did have some games that ran natively in 720p.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it did. A few.
Yeah, so I would play like The Warriors was one of them, and I think Doom 3 was one of the others, and they look great, and it really kind of whet your appetite for what the 360 was going to do.
We've got a bit of a streak
Definitely.
of episodes here where the Warriors has come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for me personally, it was I grabbed one after I got my 360. I was one of the people who got one of the free 360s through the, what was it, Doritos, Pepsi,
Mountain
something
Dew.
like that. And I didn't grab I didn't get an HD TV right away. It was actually Dead Rising, I believe.
Yeah.
That because the text on that was so tiny that I just couldn't read it anyway.
Oh, right.
And it
yeah.
just sort of, that was the tipping point. It's like, well, from now on, everything's going to be, HD. So I need an HD TV. And I actually ended up getting a CRT HD TV for all of 2 days before I took that back and got the same Sony LCD rear projector that CJ had.
That's right.
Yeah. And then actually I didn't upgrade again until we renovated the house and I wanted to hang my television on the wall, and that was when I decided I'm going to get a 3D TV because Sony's pushing it, and 3D is where it's at. And
How
I don't
wrong you
regret
were.
that. I actually I really enjoy playing games in 3D. Don't do it very much anymore, obviously, but
Yeah.
Puppeteer, man. Puppeteer.
Puppeteer was fantastic. Actually, what was the name of that series that the Drive Club people did?
MotorStorm.
MotorStorm. The third MotorStorm game, was amazing in 3D. It looks so good.
Yep.
So yeah, I played through all that in 3D, and it was awesome. One more quick thing. I'm going to throw this out here. Hacker alias Alpha Trion sent in a couple tweets here. I want to call this out just because he's been a big supporter of mine through Generation 16 and Extra Life. And he's saying that Greg, has inspired me to do an Extra Life gig in early 2017. What are some of the nice to knows for a first timer to plan and organize? How many 30-minute slot would you recommend to hold for donors? Pick games, play seeing as I will have limited publicity. There's a lot of different things, and I think actually as we get closer to the event this year, the main event, I'm maybe take some time on this show to really outline a bunch of the stuff that I do. But I would say that really, do enough half-hour slots. Offer as many as you can. If you're going to do 24 hours, offer 48 of them. see that I did that math quickly in my head. I almost screwed it up. I could feel Phil's eyes boring into my brain.
That's right.
And being disappointed with what he found. Yeah, the main thing that I would say, though, especially as a first timer, and if you feel like you're going to have limited publicity, don't get discouraged. That's one of the things that I see happen a lot, especially ever since I started with the guild here in Halifax, is that you get first timers who come in and they're like, oh, that person over there raised $2,000 last year, so I'm going to make my goal $2,000. Make your goal high, because it actually does help drive donations. You want your goal to be much higher than you want to end where you haven't actually met your goal. And if you do reach it, raise it, because people will be more inclined to give you some cash if you haven't actually hit your goal yet. But don't, like, if you set it at 2,000, you end up raising 200. Don't give up. Like, keep going year after year. It will grow. It will gain momentum. Like last year, I raised over $5,500. The first year I did it, I raised $700, and that was a huge win for me. I didn't expect to get that much, and now it's like it builds momentum, and I mean everything helps. So that's my key thing, because I've seen so many people do it where they go in with these huge expectations, they raise a couple $100 and they give up and they don't do it again. And it's a real shame, because it will eventually get more. And like I said, your local hospital appreciates every dollar you raise for them. It's all very important. So that's the main advice I would give. Like I said, as we get closer to the end of the year, I'll probably cover this stuff a little bit more on the show. But thanks for asking that question. Before we go here, I wanted to call out that episode 18 of Generation 16 is now widely available.
Woo! That's right.
To
Woohoo!
everyone. Yeah.
Which episode's your favorite, CJ? You seem to be cheering for it so much.
CJ made reference to something in this episode, so I know he at least read the notes.
I watched the whole thing, I'll have you know.
Did you really? Oh,
I did. And I love the game Decap Attack.
Yes,
and
I know you do.
not the actual game, just the history behind the whole redoing of that Japanese
It's quite
game.
interesting.
And starring Chuck D. Head. Yeah, it's one of my favorite little games. Not the game itself, the history around it.
Although I did gain an appreciation for that game. I used to hate it, but I actually started to really enjoy it when I did it for this episode. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's got a very cool history for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, and I've been getting some tweets from people about. It's by far one of my favorite things when those episodes come out, and I get tweets about the episodes. By far, one of my favorite things is when someone says they learned something new.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your mispronunciation of Japanese developer.
Oh yeah, no, that's always fun too.
like Tosei.
Whatever.
When you're actually watching or listening to or reading something that doesn't feel like they just are transcribing Wikipedia, you mean?
Totally.
Yeah, I try hard not to do that. I mean, there's an element of that too, but like there was this episode had 3 segments about the Mega Drive in markets that you don't often hear about. Brazil's one of them, but South Korea.
That was
and,
super interesting. I didn't know that the Genesis was called the Super Game Boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
in South Korea.
It's competing with Nintendo's Super Comboy.
Yes.
And then, of course, they changed the name to Super Aladdin Boy. But anyway, and I'll say, like, the whole way that came about was actually a really good friend of mine. His wife is from South Korea, and he happened to go. They happened to go back with their kids to visit her family this past spring. And he said, "While I'm here, is there anything you'd like me to pick up?" I was like, "Oh my God, I'd love a Mega Drive," because I had no idea about anything. I just knew that they'd been released in South Korea. And he got one for me. So I've actually got the one I have is an Aladdin Boy, the actual hardware, which I think I've shown on this show. And that kind of opened it up. It's like, I've never really covered these different markets, and it just so happens I'm covering 1990, and that's the year that it came out in South Korea and Australia and Brazil. And those segments came together really nicely, I think.
So wait, was that actually distributed under that name by Sega, or was it kind of?
It was distributed by Samsung.
Oh, okay.
And again, go watch the episode. I'm the one who put it together, so it's easier for me to say this. But while I was researching it, it's really fascinating. So go
Cool.
check it out.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to say or announce before we close up?
Oh, just one last one. With what you've been playing, I did forget to mention, and I've been enjoying it a lot. God Eater 2. That thing is a monster of a game from a size perspective. Yeah, but it's on PS4 also. And I mean, it's Monster Hunter, and I think that it's more accessible and more fun than Monster Hunter. Definitely faster paced, more interesting characters and story. So if you're looking for kind of a Monster Hunter fix and either don't have a 3DS or just want something that is faster paced, check out God Eater 2.
There's something else I wanted to bring up too, real quick. Apparently, there's a Vita game that just came out that takes place in like the Canadian Maritimes.
Huh? What's the name of it?
I don't know. I've got to look it up. I don't think we have time to do this while we're hearing.
Okay.
So we'll end the show for now, and maybe we'll put it in the show notes or something. DJ, are you going to do the outro so I don't have to stumble my way through it?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Let's do that.
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Seward.
There's one coming soon.
You'll find episode 18 of Generation 16.
Go watch it.
When's episode 19 coming out? Come on.
It shouldn't take as long because I'm literally going to be sticking to just the 5 games that I'm covering.
Nice.
Episode, so, yeah.
Nice. And to find a message board where you can discuss this and every episode of the podcast with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by going to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can also invest $1.99.
Cheap.
Pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application. It gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails and the Twitters and the what have you. You also have all of our episodes ready to stream our iTunes listening device. And hey, Android cell phone telephone users, the Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
You can find that right over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're also on Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook. You can check us out live most weeks, along with archives of our past episodes at the youtubes.com/P1 Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've liked what you've heard, and how could you can head right over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. It will allow CJ to pick up one of these beautiful Pokemon Go Pluses off eBay because they're sold out.
Are they sold out, really?
I don't know, probably.
Amazon had some in stock a couple days ago.
Well, yeah, that was a couple
but
days
I'm
ago.
not interested because I have an Apple Watch, so why don't Pokemon Go
See, it would be sold out if they came out before 70% of people stopped playing.
Well, I don't know. I got a Twitter earlier today saying that they were going for like $90 on eBay.
Really?
Oh, wow.
So sit and spin.
Wow.
What do you think about that? And
Sick
Oh,
burn
yeah,
is
but-
what I think.
if you have a
about
couple bucks left over, head over to generation-16.com where you will find the home and a link to the Patreon of Greg Seward's fantastic and recently updated Generation 16 web series about America's favorite underdog, America's favorite runner-up, America's first loser, the
Never
Sega Genesis. The Sega Genesis.
Thanks.
The Sega Genesis.
The Sega, that's right. The Sega.
Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
Were there any? Did Temco make any games for that?
Temco, God. You're giving me flashbacks from game retail.
Yeah, exactly.
You have Residential Evil.
You guys got Temco Bowl? CJ.
Yeah.
Dr. Sparkle says Temco all the time.
He does.
It's
It
so
does.
cute.
I want to
It's
send him
so
a
cute.
every time. It's like, dude.
I know, right? CB4M. But CJ, thank you.
I play all the games from Namcot.
Do you?
Namcot. That's actually
Yeah.
a thing, though.
That is a
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Greg,
Yo.
thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Gaming Unicorn,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And go read his Gaming Unicorn blog.
Do it.
There you go. And is that it? Next week?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Go figure out how this Pokemon Go Plus works.